Welcome to Mr. V's online classroom. I'm Mr. V. I've been teaching math for 25 years in grades 6 through 9. I hope these videos will help you understand math a little better. Today we're going to cover systems of equations, elimination. A system of equations is a set of two equations that are related by two variables, usually x and y. The solution is where the two equations have the same answers for x and y, and they make both of the equations true. There are three ways to solve systems of equations: graphing, substitution, and elimination. In this video, we'll be covering elimination. We will use elimination to solve a system of equations like this example to the right. 3x minus 3y equals 3 and 2x plus 3y equals 17. I will show you how to do elimination with this example on the next slide. When doing elimination, you use both equations at the same time. Follow these steps and apply them if necessary. So here's the equation from the previous slide: 3x minus 3y equals 3, and 2x plus 3y equals 17. First step is make sure the equations are in the same format. So you have x and y on one side of the equal sign and the constant on the other side, and they all line up. Then the second step is you look at the coefficients, the number in front of the x and y terms. The coefficients of the x and y terms must be opposite or the same. Then you can go on to the next step. If they are the same, then you subtract the equations. If they're the opposites, then you add the equations. In this case, the y terms are opposites, so we're just going to add them together. I will show you exactly how to do this on the next slide. Here's the equation from the previous slide: 3x minus 3y equals 3, 2x plus 3y equals 17. So remember, we said we're going to add the equations. Negative 3y and positive 3y will cancel each other out or eliminate each other. So we get 3x plus 2x equals 5x. And we do negative 3y plus 3y equals 0. And then we get 3 plus 17, and that equals 20. So we're going to take that and make a new equation. Our new equation, because we eliminated the y variable, looks like this: 5x is equal to 20. We divide both sides by 5, and we get x is equal to 4. So that's half of the answer. We're going to substitute 4 for x in either equation and solve for y. So I'm going to use 2x plus 3y equals 17 as my equation to substitute 4 in for x. So I get 2 times 4, which is 8, plus 3y equals 17. Then I subtract 8 from both sides and end up with 3y is equal to 9, and then divide both sides by 3, and I get y is equal to 3, the other half of the solution. So my answer is 4, 3 in parentheses. Let's try an example like the last one. We see that we have 3x minus 6y equals 24 and 3x minus 2y equals 12 as a system of equations. We look and we see that they have the same number. So if you have the same coefficient in front of a variable and everything is set up the same way, then when we have the same, we subtract. So we're going to subtract the bottom equation from the top equation. So 3x minus 3x equals 0. So something was eliminated. That's why it's called elimination. And now we get negative 6y minus a negative 2y. Now remember, when you subtract a negative, you actually end up adding. So you're going to do negative 6y plus 2y. That's going to end up being negative 4y. And now we do 24 minus 12. And 24 minus 12 is equal to 12. So now we have a new equation. Negative 4y is equal to 12. We would divide both sides by negative 4. Then we get, on the left side we get y, and then we get equal sign, and then on the right side we get negative 3. So that's half of our equation. We're going to use that to substitute into one of the other equations. It doesn't matter which one. So I chose this one. 3x minus 6y equals 24. So I'm going to take that negative 3 and substitute it in for y right here. Remember to use parentheses when you substitute. 3 times x minus 6 times negative 3. And that equals 24. So we get negative 6 times negative 3 equals 18. So we get 3x plus 18. And that equals 24. Now we subtract 18 from both sides. And we get a new equation of 3x is equal to 6. Divide both sides by 3 to isolate the x, and we get x is equal to 2. So our answer is 2, negative 3. So now I'm going to show you what happens if you don't have coefficients that are the same or exact opposites. So again, here's the list of steps you should take, like we did the last time. It's the same, and at the bottom I'm going to add another one that you would do, and that would be step number 4. If none of these steps work, you need to multiply or divide one or both of these equations to make steps 2 and 3 true. So here's an equation. We have 2x plus 3y equals 6, and 4x minus y equals 19. So this is one where they're not opposites or the same. This means we will have to adjust one or both of the equations, and I will do this for you on the next slide. Here is the set of equations from the previous page. 2x plus 3y equals 6 and 4x minus y equals 19. So as I look at this, can I make the coefficient from one equation into the coefficient from another. And it looks like I can do that with the 2x and make that into a 4x, which means then I could subtract. So I'm going to multiply the entire equation by 2. I'm going to do 2 times 2x, 2 times 3y, and then 2 times 6. Now I'll write this down below the other equation. 2 times 2x gives me 4x. 2 times 3y gives me 6y. And 2 times 6 gives me 12. Since the coefficient of the x term is both 4, we can subtract the equations. So we get 4x minus 4x equals 0. We eliminated the x value. Negative y minus 6y. So when you have two negatives, you add them together and you get negative 7y. And then 19 minus 12 is 7. So our new equation is negative 7y equals 7. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 7. And I get y is equal to negative 1. Again, half the equation. I'm going to use this to substitute in to one of the other equations. It doesn't matter which equation. Even the one you adjusted you could use. But I'm going to take the other equation that I didn't adjust. I'm going to use 4x minus y equals 19. So I'm going to take that negative 1 and put it in for y. And remember, I'm still going to use a parenthesis. So 4x minus parenthesis negative 1 equals 19. Now I get 4x, and when you subtract the negative 1, it's actually adding 1, and that equals 19. So now I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides, and I get 4x is equal to 18. Divide both sides by 4, and I get x is equal to 4.5. So my answer is, in parentheses, 4.5 comma negative 1. So we got a couple more examples to do, so stay with me, please. Here's the next one. This is one where you have to multiply both equations. So I have 4x minus 3y equals 6, and 3x minus 5y equals negative 12. An easy way to accomplish this is you take the coefficient of the x term in the first equation and multiply it by the second equation, and then you take the coefficient of the x term in the second equation and multiply it by the first equation. These will make the x values or the x coefficients the same. So I multiply the first equation by 3, and I multiply the second equation by 4. Three times 4x gives me 12x. 3 times 3y equals negative 9y. 3 times 6 equals 18. Now I'm going to multiply the bottom one by 4. 4 by 3x gives me 12x. 4 by negative 5y gives me negative 20y. And then I multiply negative 12 by 4 and I get negative 48. Okay, so now since I have 12x and 12x as the same, I'm going to subtract. Remember, same means subtract. So 12x minus 12x equals 0. That gives me in my elimination. I eliminated the x term. Negative 9y minus a negative 20y. Remember to use the parentheses to keep the negatives correct. So a negative and a negative make a positive. So I'm going to add to that, and I get negative 9y plus 20y is positive 11y. And then when I subtract again with just numbers, same thing. 18 minus negative 48 is actually 18 plus 48, because two negatives make the positive. So I end up with 66. I'm going to divide both sides by 11. And I get my first half of the answer is y is equal to 6. Okay, I'm going to substitute back into any equation. So the one I chose was 4x minus 3y equals 6. So I'm going to take that y, put it back up in here, and my new equation is 4x minus 3 times 6 equals 6. So I do 3 times 6 and I get 4x minus 18 equals 6. Add 18 to both sides. And I get 4x is equal to 24. Divide both sides by 4. And I get x is equal to 6. So my answer is, in parentheses, 6, 6. All right, one more example. So now I have to rearrange the equations because one of them is not in the same form as the other. I have 5x minus 2y equals 10, and now I have 4x equals 15 minus 4y. So that second one, I need to move the y over to the other side so it's in the same format as the top equation. So I'll add 4y to both sides, and then my new equation will be 4x plus 4y equals 15. And then I'll write the other equation below it, 5x minus 2y equals 10. So now I need to make one of the coefficients from one into the coefficient from another one, or an opposite. So I see the negative 2y and the positive 4y, so I'm going to multiply this bottom one by 2. So now I get 2 times 5x gives me 10x, 2 times negative 2y gives me negative 4y, 2 times 10 gives me 20. So since I now have opposites, I'm going to add the equations. (10x plus 4x equals 14x). Negative 4y and positive 4y cancel each other out, and I get 0, eliminated the y, and now I get 20 plus 15 equals 35. So 14x equals 35. I divide both sides by 14. And I get x is equal to 2.5. So I'm going to use that to substitute back into any of the equations above. So I'm going to use 4x plus 4y equals 15. So I'm going to put it back in there for x. 4 times 2.5 plus 4y equals 15. So now I get 4 times 2.5 is 10 plus 4y equals 15. I got to subtract 10 from both sides, and I get 4y is equal to 5. Divide both sides by 4, and I get y is equal to 1.25. So the answer for this system of equations is, in parentheses, 2.5, comma, 1.25. Remember, rewatch this as often as you need, and make sure you understand all the concepts. Well, we've come to the end of Systems of Equations by Elimination. I hope this video helped you understand this concept a little better. Please come back and watch it as often as you need to. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Help me to make more math videos. Also, hit the bell notification so you will know when I upload a new video. make sure to check out these other math videos. Thank you.